Hello and welcome to Government Unit 3. This video is all about propaganda. But before we define what propaganda is, I do want to talk about one other group kind of similar to political parties that is in a different video. Interest groups are very similar to political parties. Interest groups are groups that want to help elect candidates who agree with the views of the interest groups and to defeat candidates who have taken stands against them. But they don't nominate candidates like the Democrats and the Republicans do in many other political parties. They pick candidates that have been nominated in other parties' primaries and then support them with resources, especially money. Some famous examples include the NRA and the ACLU. So, how do political parties and interest groups influence you? They do it through a number of ways, but one of the more sinister ways, and you've seen it every single election on TV, whether you realized it or not, propaganda. Propaganda is a message that's meant to influence people's ideas, opinions, or actions in a certain way. These can be lies, but they don't have to be. They could be truth. They could say only good things about a candidate and completely ignore all the bad things. That's propaganda because they're leaving out the whole story. Now, there's a lot of different types of propaganda. And again, some of them involve lying, some of them don't. The three we're going to talk about in this video include the plain folk strategy, the bandwagon strategy, and the transfer strategy. The transfer strategy is when you try to connect the candidate you're supporting to another person, group, or symbol that's highly respected. For example, if you're a Republican, one of the most popular Republican presidents in the past 100 years even would be Ronald Reagan. So as a result, anybody who's a Republican trying to use transfer propaganda is going to, instead of talk about what their beliefs are or what their plans are, they might focus a lot of attention on just trying to compare themselves to this very celebrated, very popular former leader, Ronald Reagan. And the Democrats do the same thing. The Democrats, one of their most popular leaders in recent history is President Bill Clinton. So a lot of candidates compare themselves to Clinton. They'll say things like, I'm going to carry on the Reagan plan, the Reagan way of doing things, or the Clinton way of doing things, the Clinton social health care plan. I'm going to bring it back. I don't know if anybody's exactly said those words, but that's the general idea. Another propaganda strategy is known as the plain folk strategy. This is when you try to convince voters that you're just like them, an ordinary person with simple needs and ideas that are very much like your average person. I've lived in this city all my life. My children go to the same schools as your children. That's a plain folk strategy. I'm just like you. I'm no different. Forget my mansion. At heart, I'm just a city boy. I'm just a country boy. That's plain folks. The final strategy that we're going to discuss is the bandwagon strategy. When you use a bandwagon strategy, you're trying to tap into most people's inner desire to be part of the popular crowd. Many of you have heard that word bandwagon used before in sports. You might say, oh, you're just rooting for the Patriots because they just happen to be winning a lot, not because you're actually loyal to them. Next year, you're probably going to root for whoever wins that Super Bowl. You're just trying to be cool. That's a bandwagon strategy. To do the same thing in politics, you might say that, look, polls show more than 80% of voters like me, so you should like me too. Has nothing to do with whether they have a good plan or not, whether they have anything that you might be interested in. They're just trying to tell you, hey, a lot of people like me. That's all you need to like me too. That's bandwagon. If you have any questions about any of these types of propaganda, let me know in class. Other than that, that's it, and thank you.